Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Sam here. Welcome everybody to Final Fantasy XIV. In today's video, I'd like to talk a little bit about Bard skills and my points of view since I play as Bard on Final Fantasy XIV, and I would say, if anything, I'm main Bard in Final Fantasy XIV. I'm considering maining Bard also in Stormblood, but I'm a little bit torn between Bard, Mage, and Samurai. All three of them look really fascinating, and I just want to kind of show my perspective and kind of talk about my personal thoughts on the changes happening to Bard in Stormblood. And right here I have the video courtesy of Inside Gamer, link to that in the description below. Thanks so much, Inside Gamer, and everybody else in the Final Fantasy XIV community has been putting out videos of this. Like I said, I'll leave that link to the description below. It's an all skills for all jobs video where it just goes through the skills, just kind of mouse over the abilities, hover over them to show, you know, the names of the ability, the changes, and the effects on them. And I was thinking maybe it could be a pretty good time for us to take a little bit of a look on the video and kind of, I guess, cross-analyze and comment on the changes happening to Bard. Now, there are some exciting things that are kind of exciting, some things a little bit scary, but like I said, we can go through the video and actually talk a little bit about it. Seems like heavy shot and straight shot, for the most part, everything for the action skills on Bard is going to be pretty much staying the same. I see some of the abilities were actually moved from regular abilities like the Quelling Strikes into some roll abilities. That'll be shown off in the future anyway, so let's go through some of the abilities here. Regular abilities are as they are, nothing really major changes to them, which is really nice. Let's go over to the job. Actually, no, he's gonna go over to the traits here. I believe the traits pretty much stay the same. There is an enhanced Imperial Arrow, which guarantees a trigger of additional effect for Mage's Ballad, Army's Paeon, and the Wanderer's Minuet when these actions are executed while under the effect of the Imperial Arrow, which does sound pretty interesting. And Bite Mastery, which is Bite Mastery, which means a Venom Bite and Wind Bite upgraded to Caustic Bite and Storm Bite, respectively. That'll be the upgrade to the next set of poisons for the Venom Bite and Wind Bite to make them more potent and to add extra effects with them. And it is a pretty nice upgrade. Nothing seems like it's majorly being changed for Bard, but the songs, the way they're going to be interacted and the way they're going to be introduced into the game is going to be different. Rather than playing a song and using up your mana to play it, it's kind of like a cooldown. You play it, and you have like 30 seconds to do whatever you can with the song. It will benefit the party, and it will benefit you sometimes. And it's up to you at that point to start juggling the songs a little bit. It's going to be very interesting playing Bard over in Stormblood. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and cover some of the job abilities one by one. We got Mage's Ballad, a big thing, major change happening for a lot of the songs for Final Fantasy XIV and Bard. One of them being Mage's Ballad. First of all, deals unexpected damage with potency of 100 and additional effects. Remember how it used to recover mana? Now increases critical hit rate for all party members within a radius of 20 yalms by 2%. Yes, that's literally it. Mage's Ballad will no longer provide mana. Mage's Ballad is no longer just for the mages. It's just Mage's Ballad all in a name. The ballad itself is now a forever crib buff. It actually is the same story is repeated over for every single song except for Requiem. For Requiem is being redone in a little bit different way to be more defensive, but Mage's Ballad and Wanderer's Minuet and Army's Paeon are all going to be a crit buff for everybody regardless of what they are, which, if you play as a Bard and you're used to using Mage's Ballad to recover mana for your party members, it might be very jarring like it is for me. So Mage's Ballad is only Mage's Ballad only in the name alone. Mages and everybody else can benefit from it nevertheless. It does come with bonus effects here. For additional effects, reset Blood Letter and Reign of Death, recast time if critical damage over time is dealt by Caustic Bite and Storm Bite. Now, this before, the reset of the cooldown for Blood Letter and Reign of Death was actually a passive that came in as a trait for Bard and now is instead implemented into Mage's Ballad. So whenever Mage's Ballad is played out, which has a recast time of 80 seconds, you'll play out for 30 seconds, and then if you get a crit with Caustic Bite or Storm Bite, you get a chance to reset Blood Letter or Reign of Death. I'm guessing this can be used either for just, you know, keep up with offensive, or to use Reign of Death for some AoEs as well. So I guess this might be the first song we'll play as Bard in order to maintain it. So instead it's going to be more like an offensive cooldown rather than a spell we maintain with mana, which is really different and really interesting. For Requiem, reduces all enemy, sorry about that, I do apologize about it. Reduces all enemy damage dealt by 3%, MP is drained while singing, effect is lost if target move out of here distance, and ends upon reuse. So for Requiem still does use mana, and instead of reducing the enemy's magical resistance, instead it reduces all enemy damage dealt by 3%. Now 3% sounds really low, but it's all damage, so any damage they do, especially if it's like gonna be like a burst ability or if there's going to be a certain area where there's a lot of AoE happening, you got to make sure you protect people, it's going to be a slight increase to the survivability of everybody else. It's just a straight up 3% damage reduction for enemies when it comes to dealing damage. Should help out the healers a little bit. I wish it was a little bit more potent though. I think 3% is still kind of low in my opinion. Rain of Death still stays the same and lowers down target evasion by 10%, which still stays as is. Army's Paeon, same effect as Mage's Ballad, increases critical hit rate of all party members within a radius of 20 yalms by 2%. But instead of having the effect with Bloodletter and Rain of Death, the effect that like Mage's Ballad had, this time it has additional effects of granting Repertoire if critical damage over time is dealt by Caustic Bite or Stormbite. Same mechanic with Caustic Bite and Stormbite, but instead does something different. Repertoire effect increases damage dealt by 4% and reduces weapon skill cast time and recast time, spell cast time and recast time, and auto attack delay by 4%. Can be stacked up to 4 times. This applies only on Bard, by the way. Unfortunately, this only applies for Bard for Repertoire effect, and apparently can stack up to 4 times, which means any single time your Caustic Bite or Stormbite get a crit, which apparently we're going to be working off of crit the entire time, the way the abilities have been described. So pretty much Bards are going to be you're no longer going to be a bard anymore. You're more like a ranger with lots of crits. Not really much of utility except the extra crit rate. But it seems like a lot of our abilities are going to be working off of critting for Caustic Bite and Stormbite, Mage's Ballad and Army's Paeon, and instead you will get a Repertoire with Army's Paeon, which will reduce your attack speed, cast speed, whatever, by 4%. I do not believe Repertoire will be benefiting everybody else, but it could be a possibility. The text is very vague. I'm pretty sure somebody that did a video of the breakdown, or maybe has had a hands-on experience with it, can tell a little bit more. But as far as I understood, at least from the text alone, for the description, it looks like it's going to be only affecting just the Bard. But I could be wrong. If you have any more information about it, please feel free to leave it in the comments below, as I am only working with limited information that I do have available, since I don't have hands-on experience and I haven't seen it used in practice on video. Then let's go on through here. We get Battle Voice, which increases direct hit rate of all party members under the effect of your Mage's Ballad, Army Paeon, or Wanderer's Minuet by 15%, which is a solid buff, lasts 20 seconds. Really good buff overall to have. I'm highly enjoying the change to Battle Voice. Wanderer's Minuet, instead of keeping us in place as bards and making us cast things, because that was a mechanic that a lot of bards didn't like when it was introduced in Heaven's Ward, instead it now has the same effect as Army's Paeon and Mage's Ballad of the extra crit, but instead allows execution of Pitch Perfect if critical damage over time is dealt by Caustic Bite or Stormbite. Can be stacked up to 3 times. Now the Pitch Perfect, I believe, is going to be a resource that we'll be building on us. If you ever played something like a paladin in World of Warcraft, where you build up holy power and then spend the holy power, it's going to be a resource spender for us. We'll be spending Preach Perfect on other abilities in order to benefit from them. I believe actually Imperial Arrow may actually benefit from it a little bit here. Limits an attack with potency of 230. This weapon skill does not share recast time with any other actions. Imperial Arrow stays as is. There's a Preach Perfect ability right here. Delivers an attack with potency of 100 when Repertoire stacks is 1 240, when Repertoire stacks is 2 420, when Repertoire stacks is 3, can only be executed when the Wanderer's Minuet is active, which is kind of interesting. So that means it's going to be stacking off of that. So it looks like, never mind. Remember what I said about Imperial Arrow? I missed that completely. Pitch Perfect is going to be the spender for Wanderer's Minuet Repertoire stacks. So yeah, that's we're gonna be benefiting off of that pretty nicely. So whenever our abilities crit, whenever our poisons crit for when we are playing Wanderer's Minuet, we'll be able to build stacks with Pitch Perfect. And the more stacks we have, the more potent it is. So it's best if we just let the songs play out as best as possible. I hope we get a huge crit buff for Bards, and maybe Bards is gonna be critting a lot more often with our poisons as we go into this, because it seems like it's gonna be very RNG based with poisons, which I'm not too comfortable with, because RNG doesn't usually work extremely well in previous situations. I don't know, RNG is very questionable. Sometimes it may do amazing, and like astrologers can just, you know, constantly draw balance all the time and just be really good and lucky with balance, or RNG can work against you and you can be like Bard and not get a single crit on your poisons, which would be really unfortunate. RNG stays as the same. Warden's Paeon, I believe, also stays as the same, removes one select determined effect from target. Yep, it stays as the same, which I really love. Warden's Paeon, it is so good. Troubadour is another ability we will get at level 62, adds an additional effect to the song currently being sung. Mage's Ballad effect will increase the maximum HP by 15%, I'm guessing for everybody else in a party. Army's Paeon will reduce physical vulnerability by 10%, and Warden's Minuet will reduce magical vulnerability by 10%. Now, I'm not really sure what it means by physical vulnerability, magical vulnerability. Is it going to be physical vulnerability for enemy? I'm guessing it's for enemy. So make it so that if you play Army's Paeon and use Troubadour, then the melee will benefit from it, and then if you use Wander's Minuet and use Troubadour, then the magic users will benefit from it. It depends on what kind of builds we have, and if you have a black mage and a summoner with us, or red mage and, you know, maybe a samurai or something, I don't know. It depends on what kind of repertoire we're gonna have, I guess, in the composition for our raids and stuff. But it does have a 180-second cooldown, so this is going to be a really big cooldown, and we'll have to work off of the song, so we're going to have to be very picky and choosy on which songs we want to work off with. Sidewinder stays pretty much the same. Let's go down here. Caustic Bite, this is the ability that's going to replace Venom Bite. Delivers an attack with potency of 120, which is still pretty strong. It's a poison, additional effect poison. Potency is 45, which is really nice. Duration 30 seconds, which I am totally down for. And we got Storm Bite here. Delivers wind damage with a potency of 120. Wind damage over time. Potency is 55, duration is 30, so this is going to be our replacements for the poison and wind bite. Refulgent Arrow, which is a level 70 ability, deals wind damage with a potency of 300, can only be executed while under the effect of the straight or shot. So that's gonna be kind of interesting. Alright, that's actually gonna be pretty cool. Remember how in straight shot we can actually benefit of it? Apparently there's gonna be also a straighter shot. That's gonna be another ability we can use with straighter shot to get extra attacks in. So it's gonna be very proc based, I'm guessing. This class is gonna be very proc based and very crit RNG chance based. It's gonna be interesting playing as a bard from now on, and not playing as a BOWMAGE as I was used to in Heaven's Word. And then the last ability that's actually really cool is Nature's Min. Increases HP recovery via healing magic for a party member or self by 20%. So we can drop it off on a tank or on a healer or somebody who's really dying or about to take a lot of damage, and it's going to increase the HP recovery, which is going to be really good. I think it's going to be really awesome for a tank. That's actually extremely good. Now, another thing to be excited for and a little bit questionable about is the role abilities that Bards and Machinists both will share. So, as you can see, a lot of them are a combination of Bard abilities and Machinist abilities, as well as some, I believe, looking PvP-like abilities like Refresh and Tactician, which should be interesting. But I'm not opposed to it. Let's go ahead and keep an open mind about it and cover a little bit more about them. Second Wind is a must-have. I absolutely love Second Wind as my cross-class ability. Cure opponent to 500, heal yourself just like that. Easy, no problem. Leg Raise inflicts heavy with heavy plus 40%, duration 10 seconds, which is also really nice utility. We got Invigorate, instant restore 400 TP, a must-have as well, if from my personal experience. Then we have Refresh, which I believe is a rework of a PvP ability. Gradually restores own MP and MP of other nearby party members. Duration is 30 seconds. Recast time is 180, so it's a cooldown. Does not use mana whatsoever. Does not use any mana at all, which is both a good thing and kind of a bad thing. Because I'm used to Mage's Ballad being the thing that, I would sacrifice my own DPS for a little bit, and my own mana, and try to last out as much as possible so I can recover mana for my healers and, caster friends, and, Dark Knights as well. And then we get Refresh. And just like that, the abilities are changed entirely, and now both Bard and Machinists will be able to use Refresh. It's a simple button away to click as a utility. Lasts 180 seconds, and does not work off of mana. Which is both nice because Mage's Ballad did reduce our physical damage, and it seems like Stormblood is trying to make Bards more DPS-y rather than utility-based, which is okay still. It's still completely fine. I'm alright with that. Let's keep going through this. I'm gonna make some more comments about it. I'm still questionable about it, the entire thing, but it's okay. We'll just leave it at that for now. Then there's Arm Graze, stuns the target, duration 2 seconds, which is still pretty nice ability. Finally, Bard will have a stun, finally. Palisade reduces physical damage taken by a party member by 20%, which is a nice, good ability. Head Graze silences target, which I might end up taking as well, since my I believe it's called Quelling Arrow is not gonna be useful anymore. It's not even on the bars anymore. It's just gone completely. We have Tactician, gradually restores own TP and the TP of all nearby party members, so pretty much the Army's Paeon ability is now on a cooldown just like Mage's Ballad was, and is available for both Bard and Machinist at the same time. So yeah, there we go. I mean, as somebody who plays Machinist, I understand implementing the turret is a little bit rough, and you can't really move the turret without re-turning on the the TP generation or mana generation. It's always was a process for it. With Bard, you just play a song, and anybody around in your field benefits from your songs, which is really nice. It makes it so that you were like a mobile mana mana bot or TP bot, which was actually something I kind of enjoyed as a Bard. It was like a very unique Bard thing that I highly enjoyed. But anyway, now we don't have to worry about it. We just gonna have a cooldown for both Machinist and Bard, which is fine because it seems like they want Bard to be less about the utility of providing mana, constantly being a mana bot, and for Machinist to be less worried about, you know, whether providing the utilities or not, and more about focusing on doing damage while having the extra utilities of the role. And I guess technically we are having a range support role technically still available for us. There are optional abilities, so we don't have to grab them if you don't want to, if, you know, party members require something. I am gonna grab the mana regeneration and both tactician. I'm gonna grab both of them because I still want to have the ability to provide my mana TP to my fellow members in the party. Peloton, a very interesting ability. It looks very much like something Bard used to have and doesn't have anymore, which I'm a little bit upset about because now it's an ability. It's literally just an ability rather than a recast of 5 seconds. And yeah, this is actually something very unique to Bard that I really enjoy. It's not a major thing, but it's just like one tiny flavor thing, kind of like how Ninja had Goad. Yeah, also Ninja doesn't have Goad. All the melees have to share cross-class abilities for melee, and one of the role abilities you can grab is Goad. So Ninjas don't just come with Goad just like that. Any melee can have a Goad at this point. Samurai, Goad. Dragoon, Goad. Monk, Goad. Ninja, Goad. Everybody get a Goad. Everybody gets to use a Goad in utilities, which is not something I'm opposed to, like I said before. Anyway, Peloton is now used as a cross-class or cross-role for Machinist and Bard. That should be interesting. And then last but not least, we got Food Graze, which is a bind on a target duration 10 seconds, cancels auto attack upon execution, target unbound if damage is taken. Bards had the same thing, so I guess it's kind of good that they decided to kind of combine abilities together and allow Machinists and Bards to choose their cross-class abilities, or cross-role abilities technically. It's not cross-class anymore, it's cross-role now, because we play a particular role. Anyway, my thoughts are, I like the changes they're doing. It's going to make it so that Bards and Machinists don't have to worry too much about debuffing themselves and sacrificing something a little bit of themselves in order to provide TP and mana. As a Bard who's used to Mage's Ballad being, you know, for the mages, it's a little bit silly having Mage's Ballad, and it's not even useful with mages. It might as well just call it Crit Ballad, Crit Paeon, and Crit Minuet, because they just provide crit. They don't provide any Wanderers, they don't provide the army with a TP, they don't provide mages with mana. It's a little bit silly playing a Bard now, but you know what, I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna stay very optimistic. The logical part of me says, hey, this is actually really good changes. This could get a lot of people to try Bard and actually enjoy Bard. And Machinists will definitely benefit from these changes of the role cross-class, especially. I, as a Machinist myself, as somebody who is still kind of mediocre at Machinist, is still normal at Machinist, not a pro whatsoever. I'm highly enjoying the changes for Machinist. For Bard, it's going to be a little bit different, but you know what? I'm not against it. I'm not fully against it. I'm okay with it. I'm alright with it. I think I can, you know, deal with it in some way or learn how to cope with it. Changes to the song is going to be something difficult to get used to, but I guess that niche of Bard that I wanted to keep is going to be gone, and it's going to be by the wayside. It is what it is. I can't really do much about it. I can just look forward to it and try my very best at what's going to be coming up ahead for Bard. I'm going to stay optimistic with it. I'm a little torn still between Bard, Red Mage, and Samurai, because Red Mage and Samurai look really freaking cool, and I may end up making a video talking about Red Mage and Samurai and talking about how I believe maybe, you know, what could be exactly attractive about them and why would somebody want to play them. And there are actually a lot of good trade-offs for them. I'm not even kidding. Oh my god, it's so good. Anyway, while I'm dealing with my dilemma here, I want to just go ahead and bring in this video to let you all know what's going to be happening with Bard and just kind of give you my points of view on it. Bard looks like in a pretty good state, but what do you all think right now? What do you think about Bard? Are you excited? Are you upset? Are you turned off from Bard right now? Are the new changes gonna get you to stop being a BOWMAGE or just being completely Bard, you know, completely give up Bard and maybe try a different class or different role? Maybe you want to, you know, you don't want to be ranged, you want to be melee, you want to be a healer, you want to be tank, you want to be caster, you want to try the new classes by any chance? Let me know in all your gripes and all your worries and your excitement over in the comments below. I'd love to join in the conversation. Nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope this was actually very informative. My name is Tamriel. Like, subscribe, and as always, have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Also, please do let me know as well in the comment section what do you think about this type of format videos. Since I do a lot of streaming, it's just a lot of it easier for me to put up OBS, put up the green screen, and get it all nice and fancy. Also, yes, the shirt is technically green, so that's why you're seeing all see through the screen and everything. Nevertheless, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next video. video for whatever we make regarding Final Fantasy 14. Anyway, see ya!